Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. It is the Manson Brothers Show. You may regret the fact that it doesn't end. Bro, this week, man, if I told you you could watch a movie that's got zombies in it, it's got some fairly decent effects.
Good effects.
It's Italian.
Italian.
It's got Hugo Stiglitz.
Not Hugo Stiglitz.
And a whole bunch of boobs. Would you watch that movie?
Boobs. I'm in.
You might regret that. We'll be right back with City of the Walking Dead.
How much boobs does it have in it?
We're about to find out. We're back. Hey, again, it's another version of the Manson Brothers Show. I'm your host, sort of host, 3/4 of the world's greatest tag team of all time. Stone Manson is my brother, Carlos, a.k.a. the one and only
Skull Manson.
Look, he's got the derby on this week.
That's the derby, buddy.
He wore this special derby because that's kind of an English-looking hat, right?
I believe it originated in the UK.
And we're talking about a European zombie film this week.
Oh, it's European.
I don't know. I don't know if they filmed this thing in Spain or in Italy.
I think they filmed it in Spain, and it's an Italian production.
What I do know is that wherever they filmed it, oh, by the way, it's City of the Walking Dead. If you haven't seen it, it's got a couple more names, right?
Yeah, Nightmare City is another one. I think maybe one.
And there are, I think we can agree, there are certain parts of this film.
It also goes by City of the Running Dead.
Yeah.
City of the Mud-Faced Dead.
Yeah, there's a lot of different titles.
It's Italian. It's low budget. It's directed by Umberto Lenzi.
This is part of our ongoing series of heckle films that we'd like to have. Now, this is not.
We would say it's a bad movie.
It's a bad movie,
no.
Right? And I would suggest that people watch it.
I would too.
You just have to watch it with kind of a different lens of entertainment.
Yeah, so when you put on this movie, don't think you're watching Dawn of the Dead or Zombie or anything of quality.
Yeah. This makes those
horror movie even.
Right. This makes the Manson brothers look like Citizen Kane.
Oh,
so
compared to this, our movie's like Oscar material.
But let's kick it off. Let's kick it off with arguably the best part of the whole movie. So we start off with what it can only be considered our protagonist, right? The one and only everyone in the German army knows, Hugo Stiglitz. If you don't know what we're talking about, you need to watch.
Look up Hugo Stiglitz. He was a Mexican actor that showed up in a lot of B films in Europe and a few in the USA as well. And actually, he's a good actor.
Hugo plays a
reporter.
Yes, who's covering the landing of some emissary.
A scientist. It's a scientist that works on nuclear stuff, and he's flying in. And he's supposed to cover.
So Hugo is charged with taking their best cameraman and heading to the airport.
Who you, by the way, you never see again.
No, you don't. Yeah. Excuse me. And while they're waiting for the plane to land, we start to hear that there's an approaching plane that nobody knows where it's coming from.
Yeah.
How it's getting there. But it's just kind of flying.
And they're not identifying themselves.
They're coming up with excuses like radio. We don't know where this, and it's a military plane.
Right.
On top of it.
Right. So they would just let
as most things happen in general FAA standards, when you're unaware of what's going on with an approaching vessel, what do? Do you try to divert them? Do you call in the National Guard, or you're like,
well, you know, in a real airport, they would scramble a jet, I think, and try and shoot it down.
Blow them in the air, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
but in this one, they're like,
come on in.
Fuck it, let them land.
Let's just land and see what happens. So
they shoot a flare. Now, why they do this? They have a guy standing on the runway, and he shoots a flare gun up. Why he does this?
No idea.
No idea. No one knows.
Within moments, we've assembled this, for lack of a better term, ragtag band of military people.
Where do these guys come
Someone
from?
pulls up in a yellow van at one point in time.
Yeah, all these military guys got like, where did they come from?
Yeah.
You know, it's not, look, if they're standing by for some reason, like the president's landing or a foreign dignitary, okay, we get it. But like, there's just some scientists landing. So where do these military guys come from? But there they are.
And they well, not really forcibly, but they're, you know.
They demand they open the door.
Yeah. They got to come out.
They can't tell They can't tell who's in the plane. So like, nobody's flying.
And the first person out the door
is the scientist.
Yes, but
he's got his hand behind his back.
That's
a clear tell.
There is one small problem with the scientists and the remaining members of the flight 666 or whatever.
Yeah, as our uncle would say, they're dead.
They are indeed dead. They are. I mean, I'm presuming we're calling them zombies, right? For lack of a better term.
Yeah, I mean, they're reanimated dead bodies. They're zombies.
This is where we kind of get into part of I guess what I would call the lesser part of the effects, which is these zombies are either look exactly like humans, just with a few different things of blood on them, or their heads are completely encased in mud.
They look like they got dog shit.
Yeah.
Spread all over their faces.
Unlike most zombies, they have a working knowledge of how to wield a hatchet, how to use
knives,
gun.
Guns. They run like hell. So just let's set the Wayback Machine for 1983 when we rented this film with our good friend Mark Carey, who was over and watched it with us, who coined the term "City of the Running Dead." We were expecting like more traditional zombie film, like Zombie or Dawn of Dead or Night of the Living Dead, where they kind of wander out, right? All of a sudden, they come gangbusters out, and they're using weapons. And I remember we were like, "What? What are we? What is this?"
Yeah.
And it doesn't get any better from there.
No, unless if boobs are your thing, particularly maiming boobs.
Man,
this is your movie. Like you are definitely.
I think Umberto Lenzi hates
boobs.
Tits. Yeah, I think he hates tits.
Well, he's got a Jones.
I'm going to tell you because they stab more tits in this thing than I've ever seen in any movie.
It's as though they make it a point.
Good pun. Point. Tits.
To exclusively.
I did not enjoy this whatsoever because, frankly, I love tits. But that's neither here nor there.
Who doesn't?
But anyway, there's a lot of scenes of girls getting stabbed, not only but they bare them first, and then they stab them.
In fairness, there are a lot of boobs shown that do not involve stabbing.
No, there are. Yeah, because again, this is a B horror film from the 80s. It's Italian, so they had to show as much cleavatory as possible.
Are you sure this is B?
C.
Yeah, this is
C. Not Umberto Lenzi's best film. In fact, when I went to the Google and looked them up, it's not even on his list of films that he made.
There you have it. Because some other ones are
the Son of Hercules versus the Minotaur, something like that. So
Son of Hercules versus Minotaur,
something like that.
Leapfrog City of the Living Dead into Umberto's top 20.
I'm going to mention, but not City of the Walking Dead.
There you have it right there.
Who knows?
So we discover at some point in time throughout the film that much in the same zombie vein that you can't kill these zombies unless you get them.
Yeah, unless you crack them in a grape. Yeah.
Right. So they try to keep, semi-consistent with that.
It takes them, and so they have the Mel Ferrer, less talented brother of Jose Ferrer, the actor, the famous actor who played Cyrano de Bergerac and many others. Also the father of Miguel Ferrer from RoboCop. Miguel Ferrer from RoboCop and from many other things.
Let's stay on path here.
Anyway, so he's sort of collecting a check on this one, but he plays this general who's sort of overseeing. And my favorite part is when they tell him, "I'm sorry, General, we're not getting any communication from your house or whatever." He's worried about his family. He's like, "Well, what are you gonna do?" It's like really not concerned about his wife and kids.
Well, now the general does have a fairly attractive young lady that's the different
guy.
New general.
Yeah,
that's right.
Another general or something. And this guy's like
still on the boobs. So.
He's like, you talking about out kicking your coverage. This guy looks like, like maybe Peter Jackson used him in one of the Lord of the Rings films for a troll. And he's got a super hot girlfriend sculptor that he lives
super hot for the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's an attractive lady, right? She is. She's attractive, very attractive, especially for this guy.
So the rest of the time they spend in these kind of war room sequences.
Yeah, figure out how they're going to fix the problem.
And what we need to keep in mind, though, is that, these people unload from the plane and then they kind of disperse across the city.
Yeah.
And we find out that the people that they attack, if they're not eating their brains or doing whatever, that they need to thrive on blood.
On blood, that
going.
keeps them going.
And so
they're kind of like vampires.
Yeah, but you can understand how it would spread across the city
Sure.
and get bigger.
Right.
At one point in time,
the thing, dude. But here's what I didn't notice: so the people get killed, do they come back to life, or are they just dead?
Well,
because here's they establish. So let's talk about this.
If continuity and establishing plot points is your thing,
as our good friend Jerry Harrison would say, it's the George C. Scott continuity button. Continuity, damn it! Is that too much to ask?
If that's your deal, you're going to
watching a wrong film.
You're going to want to steer clear.
But they do establish that these zombies were exposed to radiation.
Yes,
and that's what turned them into whatever they are.
You know who else was exposed to radiation?
The Hulk.
Our good
buddy.
Oh
yeah, Godzilla.
I wish Godzilla would have shown up during this movie.
Maybe about 3 minutes in.
Cleared out the whole airport and then went back into the
So it's
sea.
a lot of scenes. So Hugo Stiglitz's wife is a doctor at a hospital.
Yes.
And she's at work. And so the majority of the movie is spent Hugo Stiglitz trying to get to his wife to save her. And he does.
Right.
And
it's very interesting to see a movie from back then and how the lack of communication can destroy your entire day. Whereas now, you pick up your cell phone, you send a text.
Yeah, and that is really cool. And that is a cool part of the movie if you watch it from that perspective. Because, like, he calls on the phone to warn her not to go anywhere, and he just misses her. Right. And, like, the maid runs out to get her, and she's just driving away, right? And there's no way to call her back.
Nope.
Then he can't get her at the hospital, and then the phone lines go down, of course, and all that. So,
why did the phone lines go down? Because the
zombies take over
some clippers,
and they cut the phone lines. Which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and there's a lot of killing that goes on at the hospital. And then, so wait a minute, let's rewind a second.
I was going to say.
At the TV station.
We're missing.
At the TV station where Hugo Stiglitz works, they're filming a dance show.
Yes.
Now, if you thought Solid Gold with Danny Terrio was funny, it's nothing compared to this. No. I don't know what dance they're doing. It's ridiculous.
They seem to be upset if they don't get close-ups. I do recall that.
It was sillier than when the Chicago Teachers Union put out their interpretive dance thing for kids during the pandemic because they didn't want to go back to work.
What's even sillier about the show are the cameramen that are wearing lab coats for some reason.
Yeah, so there's these cameramen.
And maybe this is the European thing. I don't know.
I haven't been in that many TV studios, but they're literally wearing.
I've been around a lot of cameramen. I've never seen one
wear a lab
that's
coat.
ever had a lab coat.
And all the doctors at the hospital wearing lab coats. So it begs the question, does everybody that works in Italy wear a lab coat?
Maybe they're just more sterile than
I don't know.
Hey,
just because they can't have kids, that don't make them bad.
I meant to say sanitary.
All right. But anyway, so that's pretty funny. And so they all get killed.
Yeah.
Right?
Everyone's dying.
He gets to the hospital. He finally gets her. And they go out on the road. And which is pretty cool. So they wind up stopping at some like a restaurant.
Yeah, it's like a diner out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it's like a gas station meets diner meets
and hamburgers with an H. They spell hamburgers HAMBUGH.
Is that an Italian thing? What is that?
I don't know.
Spanish?
I don't know. It was filmed in Spain, so who knows? Maybe they just hamburger.
It's the burger.
Who knows?
Europeans.
So the zombies show up there, and Hugo Stiglitz, they batten the hatches down, right? They bat, but they don't do the back
part of the movie.
Yeah, but they don't do the back windows.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I mean, these are zombies that can figure out how to cut phone lines. Surely they're going to figure out, hey, Phil, we could probably go around to the back. There's probably a window open back there. We could get these people.
But Hugo fashions that Molotov cocktail, and you get one of the better effects of the film, which is that massive explosion.
There was where they spent their money. Yeah. But here's my question. There's a scene where they're pulling up, so they go in, and then they look out, and the zombies are like going through their car. And the zombies, are they drinking gas?
They're drinking something. I don't know.
And I think he mentions it. I might have missed it, but I thought maybe they were drinking gas because they blow up.
It's actually kind of cool. One of the scenes when they're in the in the hospital and they're shedding everybody. Remember when the guy?
He takes the IV.
blood transfusion IV thing and just starts
drinking it. It's
gulping
pretty cool.
it like it's
there are some scenes in there that are shock value scenes that even we were like, okay. There's like a scene where they chop off somebody's boob, and there's a scene where an eye gets.
Well, let's not gloss over that. So
no, we're not glossing over.
We were touching on the amount of boobs that get skewered.
You're always touching on boobs.
What can I say?
These are ladies, man.
In this particular scene, however, the attacker has a knife.
Yeah.
Which again, these zombies are particularly
real stabby on the boob.
They like to slash throats. They're doing all kinds of knives, which you wouldn't think a zombie would actually know about.
No.
But he literally at one point in time is sawing a boob off of a young lady.
chick.
I mean it's actually a cringeworthy moment of
I cringed, and we watch a lot of these movies.
Yeah.
And the other one that got me was the eyeball scene. Now, not as good as
a very good scene.
It is not as good as the eyeball scene in Zombie, but it's real close.
Well, and they spend a particular amount of time with it, watching the guy kind of fish it out with the
yeah,
skewer,
he's
right?
like underneath it, and he's like trying to fish around, and like why he's doing, who knows? But it's a pretty good effect, and it did make us go, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well,
that's enough.
And clearly, because there's so many scenes where there's stabbings going on,
yeah,
and there's no blood.
Yeah,
right?
That's weird. So you have these scenes where they're supposedly cutting people's throats, but nothing happens. Like they didn't have the money for the effect or whatever. So clearly, their practical effects budget was spent on these two effects. I think they saved it
for the boob cutting,
the eyeball, and the explosion.
Eyeball, and the explosion. Yeah, that was like.
Although there's a couple other scenes like with zombies getting the backs of their heads blown off, and that looked pretty good too. But
the B-roll of the plane coming in?
Yeah. So wait, let's talk about that. So let's talk about the end for a minute, shall we? So again, folks, this isn't a review show. We're gonna spoil it for you. So if you haven't seen the movie and you want to see it, go watch it. If not, if you don't want to see it, we don't hold it against you. And you're probably gonna, what we're telling you is probably just as good. Anyway, so they escape to this amusement park, and they decide they go up the roller coaster, which I thought was pretty cool. So they're climbing up the roller coaster, and HUGO STIGLITZ is shooting the zombies who are chasing them up the roller coaster. I thought it was
he's setting it up. He's finally gotten with his wife. They're off. They're trying to avoid everything.
And I don't remember how this helicopter shows up. I don't know if he called it or they happen to show up or whatever. But anyway, they're shooting the zombies from this roller coaster, which is really neat.
Yeah.
And so the helicopter comes. Again, I don't know how it gets there, but it gets there, and they're escaping, and he's up there.
Helicopters fly to get places so what they do is they take off, and the cool thing about them is they can hover somewhere, so that if you want to grab onto a rope,
this guy thinks I'm a stupid.
That's how helicopters
as Ma
get to
likes
places.
to say. Carlos, why are you a stupid? I'm not a stupid. You dropped me.
I think it was several times.
Maybe.
Anyway,
on purpose.
Continue.
Anyway, so the HUGO STIGLITZ gets on the chopper, and the wife is dangling.
Yes.
Right? All of a sudden, the wife falls.
Oh, my God.
And she hits almost every rail on the...
And it's awesome.
Yeah. He literally sat up and went... It was awesome. And we thought, oh, my God, this movie just redeemed itself. It had a great ending. They killed the wife. And then...
It's like JR from Dallas. Who shot JR? You remember what happened during that? He wakes up and what?
It was a dream.
It's a goddamn dream.
The
biggest cop-out in the history of writing.
And they did it again.
Jesus, crying out.
And not only that...
And then to make it worse...
It's like the Groundhog Day of zombie movies. They start the whole thing over again.
His boss calls. We need you to go get the best cameraman. You need to go.
Oddly familiar, and it's the exact same scenes they shot from the beginning. They didn't even bother to reshoot them for variety. And the whole thing starts over again.
Hey, there's a plane. What's this plane doing here?
And then
he doesn't bother to tell him, I just had this dream. Don't let the fucking plane land.
Yeah, right. So, and then it says,
the
nightmare is just beginning or something like that. So
the nightmare becomes reality.
It becomes reality.
That's what it says.
So it's
and at that point, our nightmare became reality.
Yeah, it's really a funny film to watch if you can sit through it. I kind of would recommend it because it's fun and it's time. It's very timely, very early 80s. I believe it was shot in 1980. Very, very Italian.
It's extremely Italian.
Although it does follow a coherent plot line, unlike a lot of Italian horror films.
I would say that it does.
I mean, not that's good. It's just, but it does have a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Let's face it, Hugo Stiglitz is not like a leading man kind of action guy. They try to make him that way.
But I think he was good in it. I mean, he's a solid actor. I think he pulled it off for what he had to do.
That, it follows he needs to get back to the station to try to warn everybody. They don't let him. The military keeps him from doing a public announcement to tell everyone.
Yeah, he could have stopped this. So the thing about it is, Hugo Stiglitz probably could have stopped the whole thing at the beginning if they would have let him on the air to tell people, hey, batten down the hatches. Hey, there's these weird people.
Well, the government
they didn't know what they were.
Everything to go crazy.
Yeah, they were like, they didn't know if they were a murder cult or what the deal was.
So if you're a general, right?
I'm a General Pain, so you tell me.
Well, no, you're the monumental pain in the ass. But if you were a general, and you were faced with the option of you can let somebody do a PSA on TV where people might batten down the hatches and stay away, or you can just let them find out for themselves that there's a marauding band of zombies running around slashing people's throats.
I mean, I think it was a very typical way to view the military. Like in the 1980s, like we don't want the people to know anything.
If I'm the general, you know what I'm going on and saying? Cover your boobs.
Yeah, you might want to get some armor, like put tinfoil around that.
Yeah.
You know what's also funny is
you have a brass bra, put it on right now. Otherwise,
and the military guys. I think what's really funny is the military guys. They don't even look. None of them have like military haircuts. They're just all 80s style haircuts. And the uniforms are all.
Italy's really known for their fantastic military presence, are they?
No, like when well, we could go on and on about that. Yeah. But it's funny because they have some like a uniform from a different country and Marine Corps dress stripes on there from the U.S. and it's all sort of hodgepodge. It's really funny. So if you're one of those people that likes accuracy and all that, this is not the film for you. Or if you're like pointing out the faults, then this is the film for you because there's tons.
Well, so that's what I was going to say. I think we had actually a good time watching this.
Oh yeah, we heckled the shit out of it.
Yeah, we're poking fun at it. We're having a good time. I would suggest that people watch it just because it's so zany. Yeah, it's like. And obviously we've given it away, but it's worth watching anyway.
Oh no, we haven't given half of it away. It's we've given you about that much. It's definitely a great movie to watch. You know what else is a great movie to watch? The Manson Brothers Midnight Zombie Massacre. It's available on Blu-ray and DVD on Amazon.com or through our website, MansonBrothers.com. You can also get great merchandise like this Manson Brothers hat, this awesome T-shirt, what has a funny saying on the back. We put the FU in fun.
And we do.
100%. Right? You can get this car that Natalie Decker actually drove in a NASCAR race. Not this car because she's way too big to fit in it.
She's pretty small though.
She's really little.
To fit into that.
Maybe it's possible. But this car, I think is in the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
It is.
In the Lionel section.
You can have your very own. It's a limited release.
Limited release.
Go to mansonbrothers.com. You can get your own.
They're going like hotcakes. I know. Congratulations, Natalie.
Congrats, Natalie.
And you can get pictures of me and my brother. We'll sign it all, even if you don't want it. MansonBrothers.com. That brings us to.
We have time for a viewer email?
We do.
All right. This one comes to us from Crystal. Crystal lives in Ybor City, Florida.
Ybor. Frankenstein's.
Have you ever been
to Ybor
City?
No, but I've seen Frankenstein.
You know our buddy Freddie Ottman owns Ma's Venus down in Ybor City, right?
Hey, you can't say that on TV.
I can't?
No.
Why not?
Because it's a male sex organ.
Ma's, is it?
Didn't you say penis?
No, Ma's Venus.
Oh, Venus. No, that's.
You remember Freddie Ottman, right?
That's, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Great guy, man.
Awesome. Yeah, Venus is the chick with her arms cut off. Venus the Milo.
Crystal writes, guys, only one question. Real or fake? Which do you prefer? Which I think is very topical for this boob-laden movie.
Real or fake what? Oh, that.
Jesus Christ. Well,
real.
Hedge trimmers. What do you think I'm talking about?
Real.
Fake. That's all the time we've got. We got to take it home.
Take it home.
Already told them how we pay the bills. Guys, we'll be back next week with another edition of the appropriately named Manson Brothers Show. Do not forget to tune in.
Nope.
Any final words?
See you later, shitty pants.
God love you. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll see you next week. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.